I'm Dr. Deuk. I'm a board-certified neurosurgeon here in the United States. I'm with the Deuk Spine Institute. I'm here to talk to you about spine scams. Many patients suffer from chronic back and neck pain and other degenerative spine conditions. They see their healthcare provider, who then recommends treatment. If you're seeing a surgeon, often those surgeons will recommend invasive spine surgery, or they'll recommend a less invasive treatment first, followed by invasive spine surgery, such as fusions or artificial discs, even spinal cord stimulators. I'm here today to talk to you about these scams because patients don't understand that they are being used by the system to make huge profits for surgeons, implant companies, and more importantly, the patients who receive these treatments often are exposed to unnecessary risk of serious complications or poor outcomes. There exists now today in 2025 less invasive surgeries, including the Deuk laser disc repair, the Deuk plasma rhizotomy, and the Deuk piriformis release. Between these three minimally invasive procedures, 99% of back pain can be cured in patients that are suffering with chronic back pain and neck pain. But if you go to mainstream neurosurgery, which has been controlled by the spinal implant industry for years, it's getting worse, folks. If you go to mainstream neurosurgery and you pick up the latest journal, for example, by Neurosurgery, talking about minimally invasive spine surgery advancements, such as this one that was just released, hot off the press in March of 2025. And we start to go through this journal, the first thing we can see on the front cover is they have a picture of a robot helping the surgeon do the surgery. They also have a picture of a navigational system. Now, the robot is $1 million robot often, or it costs up to $1 million to acquire. And the companies that make and sell these robots, they're making billions of dollars in profit selling spine robots and robots in the operating rooms. It turns out, in my opinion, these robots are completely unnecessary when you have a well-trained spine surgeon who knows what they're doing. And if I have a spine surgeon who tells me they want to use a robot on my spine surgery, I'm running the other way. There is absolutely no reason why a really good, well-trained spine surgeon could not do your surgery without a robot. We've been doing great spine surgery for years without robot. So why do we suddenly need robot? I'll tell you why. The companies that manufacture the robots want the profits from selling the robots to hospitals and surgery centers. So robots are being promoted heavily so that you can have surgery with a robot. It sounds sexy and interesting, but those robots don't add any value, in my opinion, to your surgery. We also have a navigational arm off behind the surgeon, which helps the surgeon point the screws in the right direction. Well, folks, if you do the surgery properly, you don't need a navigational system to point the screws the right way. And oftentimes the navigational systems will fail and the surgeons can still misplace screws. Do a research on Google yourself. Misplaced spine screws using navigation systems. You'll see articles written about it. The third thing we see on the cover here, and perhaps the biggest part of the cover, is on the bottom. There's a spine with screws that are being placed into the spine. And that's really the biggest issue in neurosurgery and spine surgery today that I'm here to complain about, is that we have become a specialty in medicine, neurosurgery, spine surgery, even orthopedic spine surgery, that is completely dominated by the companies that manufacture and sell metal and plastic implants that are put into your spine, such as screws and rods. And here's the truth, folks. It all requires an understanding of the profits that are made. Spinal implant companies, when a surgeon inserts this hardware into your spine, each of these screws is charged at over $1,000. Each of the rods is close to $1,000 to $2,000 or more. The cages that are put in between the bones for spinal fusion and reconstruction surgery, typical charges are $5,000 per cage. Some people end up getting 4 or 5 cages put into their spine. Sometimes these spine surgeries, these fusions and artificial disc surgeries, can net these implant companies hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can imagine the cost of making a screw is just a few dollars. Now, there was design fees, there's marketing fees, there's manufacturing fees, there's distribution fees. So the profits are massive, and there are massive profits. So much profit that these companies have literally taken over our journals, and now if you look at this journal, for example, Neurosurgery, Minimally Invasive Spine Surgery, Innovations and Outcomes, there is an editor-in-chief, and that editor-in-chief has overseen all the articles that have been published. This journal, if you look here on the 4th page, it says this supplement was supported by a generous grant from J&J MedTech. J&J, folks, stands for Johnson & Johnson MedTech. Well, Johnson & Johnson is one of the biggest manufacturers and distributors of screws and rods for the spine, and cages and artificial discs. So basically these companies instrumental in the creation and production of what all neurosurgeons use for education. What we go to, our journals, we go here to learn the newest techniques and things that we should be doing for our patients. Well, this journal is basically bought and sold by the implant companies. Why? Because the implant companies, they don't make a dime if their screws and rods don't get into your body. The only way they get into your body is with the surgeon. So the surgeon has to recommend this, and the surgeon has to put these in. Otherwise, these companies like J&J, they don't make any money. So basically what's happened, unfortunately, over the years is that these companies like Johnson & Johnson, Medtronic, Alphatec, Synthes in the past, they have basically infiltrated our training institutions where neurosurgeons are trained to do spine surgery. They've infiltrated our journals, where we have peer-reviewed publications that are basically regulated by other neurosurgeons for publication. They've infiltrated the editors of these, who are now all on the take. They're taking money from these companies and they're publishing the articles that the companies want them to publish. Just look at the table of contents for this special edition of Neurosurgery. If you open it up, you'll see that virtually every single article is about spinal fusion. Spinal fusion that requires spinal instrumentation and bone graft biologics. These are the products manufactured and sold by these companies. These companies cannot be profitable without you being willing to lay down on the operating table and have these things stuck in your body. And I'm here to tell you it is no longer necessary to do that. I would estimate that 95% of spinal fusions and artificial disc surgery done in America could be completely avoided, meaning they're unnecessary. And instead, the patients could find total and complete relief of their back pain and neck pain symptoms with one of our Deuk Spine Institute treatments, including the Deuk laser disc repair, where we go in and debride the annular tear in the back of the discs that are causing pain, or the Deuk plasma rhizotomy, where we go in and destroy the pain nerves that are responsible for pain coming from facet joints, that's FACET joints, and the sacroiliac joint. Or the Deuk piriformis muscle release, where we eliminate pain that comes from a chronically torn and inflamed piriformis muscle that can cause lower back pain or even sciatic pain. These treatments that I'm talking about that are available at Deuk Spine Institute, they don't require any implants, no metal, no biologics, nothing is put in your body and left in your body that's unnatural. It's literally in and out through a 7 or 4 millimeter surgical incision. The surgeries are outpatient, there's no bleeding, and you don't even need to take any narcotic painkillers after these minimally invasive outpatient procedures. So when you want to talk about true innovation in minimally invasive spine treatment, you have to look beyond the journal articles, beyond the national meetings, beyond the education that's happening at our universities and training programs. They have all been corrupted and taken over by these implant companies, and the surgeons that are responsible for leading them are on the take. And if you go to a website produced by our federal government, because this problem has been so pervasive and so widespread and it's been going on for years, the federal government has required these companies now to publish how much money they're giving to doctors. It is called open payments. Open payments by Medicare, CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It's a free public website. Just type in the name of your surgeon. Type it into that blank there on the first page and hit enter, and you will see the payments that your surgeon has received from these companies in the last 6 years. Now, I will tell you this, in the last 6 years, these companies have found ways to pay these surgeons that are not visible on this website. All right, when this website was first launched, it was around 12 years ago, and all the payments, millions of dollars in payments to spine surgeons was visible on the site. But the companies that are paying off the spine surgeons are now hiding these funds in different ways so that they're not having to be reported on this website. So you'll see a decline for most surgeons. But I personally know surgeons that are spine surgeons that are teaching spine surgeons, are teaching residents. They are making upwards of $20 million a year just from their relationships with these companies like Medtronic or Johnson & Johnson, Deuk, and others like Alphatec. All these companies pay surgeons. They call these payments consulting fees or royalties. They have many different names for them. but basically it's a kickback given to the surgeon for either using their products on patients like you or teaching other doctors to use the products. All right, this is a horrible industry. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be stopped. If you don't mind the primary motivation of your spine surgeon telling you to have a laminectomy or a fusion or artificial disc being that they're being paid off by the company that manufactures the implants going into your body, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you're sick and tired of it and you care about your health and your well-being, then you need to make a change. Thank you. Please check out our new movie. It's called Spine Scam. We have the trailer here following, and the movie will soon be available on one of the major streaming platforms. If you'd like to join us this Sunday, it is going to be March 2025 at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, previewing our movie. The movie is 2 hours and it's the first in a series called Spine Scams. It's designed to expose what's happening in the spine industry. You're welcome to join us. We'll put the link down here in the comments section. Check it out this Sunday, March 15, 2025. You can watch this preview.